of Autism Spectrum Disorder, short for ASD. And Autism Awareness Month is observed every single year as an opportunity to promote inclusion, acceptance, and also to advocate for individuals living with autism. Now, with me on the line to chat about this is Regional Development Officer at Autism South Africa, Antoinette Bruce Alexandra. Antoinette, afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I am good. I am good. How is your Tuesday so far? Let's start there.
East London is a little bit windy and overcast, but other than that, we are good.
Fantastic. I love to hear it. Well, I can't necessarily relate because it's all sunny skies. But thank you so much once again for tuning in and joining us this morning. Now, jumping straight into it, for those who have no clue and idea what autism is, talk us through that. And also, does it affect individuals in the same way?
Okay, so hi, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to come and share with you this morning. Being a parent of an adult now with autism, the journey is a long and sometimes very frustrating, but a rewarding one at the same time. For autism, we look at the diagnosis of autism, sometimes very reliable from the age of 18 months onwards already. But normally between the ages of 2 and 3, we see that the parent or the caregiver or the ECD center start noticing that there are some changes or delays in the children. Um, we find 2 to 3 times more boys than girls with autism spectrum disorders. And when it is identified or the screening is done in the centers or the parents have a problem, then we normally refer them through a channel of professional people that can help with the assessments of the child. But the diagnosis is made by a pediatrician or neuropediatrician, or if the children are older than 5, turning 6, by the educational psychologists as well. We look at 5 areas within the autism spectrum disorder before we can make a reliable diagnosis of autism. We look at the way that they speak or delayed in their speaking, specifically the communication of the child. Do they show intent with communication? For instance, a young child between 3 and 4 would come and call mom to say, come and have a look, there's a gogo in the garden. Our children show very little to no intent to share information with others. They share no or little communication with others. So communication specifically they find difficult. The second area is social interaction with other people. They find it very difficult and challenging to be with new people, to form bonds and relationships with people, even their own peers, and specifically with their own peers, because normally we find delays in the development of the child. So they would either look up to a person much older than themselves or get on better with children that are younger than themselves. So that is sort of where their developmental area would be younger than their own age. The third thing that we find is the behaviors. We don't talk about naughty behaviors or tantrums. It's not what we're talking about. It's more the set pattern of behaviors that we see with them. For instance, they have repetitive things that they do. It is self-soothing to them. They watch the same movies over and over. They might say the same word that fascinates them over and over. They play with their toys in very restrictive patterns of play. So the patterns of behavior is what we are looking out for more than naughty behaviors. There is also a difference between meltdowns that we see in our children and tantrums. Tantrums is more calculated, something that they want or denied. But with a meltdown, it's caused by a whole lot of things working together. And specifically, we are looking at here the fourth area of autism, where we're looking at their sensory system, the sensory input. We have what we talk about with sensory input. We know all about the 5 areas that we are taught about in school, but we actually have 8 senses that we look at here. We have the 5, which is the sight, the smell, the taste, the hearing, the touch. but we also look at the sense of their balance, vestibular. We also look at body awareness. What information does my body pick up from the environment around it, which is called proprioceptive. And then we're also looking at what happens on the inside of the body is the interoception. And here with the interoception, we have problems with eating, with toilet training, anxiety. A lot of anxieties come out as well. And we find that with the interoception, we have real problems with our children. And then the fifth area is connected to sensory is movement. A lot of our children have problems with praxia or apraxia, which is the movement disability or movement problems. So those are basically the 5 areas that we look at within autism before a diagnosis can be made. And with children, they are not the same. If you have kiddies diagnosed with autism, you might know that they all have autism spectrum disorder. But the thing is that they are also different, and they can present differently on different days as well. For instance, if a child is very healthy, well, had a good breakfast, a good night's sleep, they might be in a really good mood. They might present differently than in a day where they might be getting sick or didn't have a good night's sleep, and they feel, we all feel grumpy some days. We all have our off days. And so it is with autistic people as well. And then the level of support needs might be different from day to day, hour to hour as well. They might be really hungry and their sandwich fell and they can't eat it because it's dirty, but they're still hungry. Then we find the children, it's challenging. So every single day might be different as well. So it's not a linear diagnosis. It's more of a spectrum. We're looking at it like a wheel almost of disabilities for each child. And each individual is definitely there is no one person with autism that is the same as another one.
Sure, and I've heard that quite often. Thank you so much. I'm learning a lot with regards to the spectrum. Just briefly, before we can get to some of the misconceptions about the condition, tell us about Autism South Africa. Just briefly, what the work that you guys do and your focus, the heart behind it. Talk us through that.
It was started by a mom as well. Her child, I'm saying a child now, but he is in his 30s already. Jill Stacey started it with a group of other concerned parents and individuals. She started Autism South Africa as a main national office in Johannesburg. In 2011, we also started regional offices in most of the provinces in South Africa. The theory behind that is that we can't say we're a national organization if we are not represented where parents and caregivers live. So we wanted to get down to the ground to be able to help other parents, and that is we provide training, we provide support for parents, we go into schools and organizations and we network with other people just to get more of the information and the practical information out there about what is autism. If a parent has newly diagnosed child, we want to be there to support that parent. We want to be there to support the individuals by helping them with within the work environment to go and upskill the other employees and management of those job opportunities so that they can also understand and be more understanding of autism spectrum disorders as well. So we want to be there to support people in the community so that they also have someone that they can turn to and say, look, my child has just been diagnosed. What now? What is the next step? How do I cope? That's what we do.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, that is what they're all about. And of course, as we are wrapping up this chat, we will get to how you can contact Autism South Africa. Antoinette, let's talk about, some of the misconceptions about this autism that people might have. Let's talk about those misconceptions and maybe some myths that you could debunk this afternoon.
Let's start with the myths. I'm all about the myths. Bad parenting did not cause autism. I have 2 children. I have two children. My daughter is older than my son. My son was diagnosed with autism, but my daughter is neurotypical. There's nothing wrong with her. So if it was bad parenting, both my kids would be like somehow the similar or the same, or have some kind of problem that are the same. Because if it was bad parenting, it would be me and my husband that caused it. But it's not that at all. It's also not caused by vaccinations. Vaccinations did definitely not cause autism. No, a lot of parents still link the age of the diagnosis of the child with that link with the MMR injection that the child get. But that was definitely debunked. It's not so at all anymore. If parents are still concerned about it, they might go and speak to their clinic and ask them. A good clinic would be able to split those injections and give them individual, one for mumps, one for rubella, one for measles, and then all the polio drops. But they would be able to split them. It's definitely not the vaccination. It's not caused by anything like witchcraft or anything like that at all. We find quite a lot of that as well. And the stigma to families are incredible. They are being
Sure.
shunned in the communities. The children are not accepted as individuals in their communities. We still see a lot of children being excluded from services because of these kind of beliefs as well. Yeah, so the myths are there, but it's definitely debunked, all of them. Um, what was the other part of the question? Now you lost me because I get so excited.
Yeah, we just talking us through some of the misconceptions about
Misconceptions. Yes. That it's only a thing that exists within boys or the male um, part of the population. It's definitely not so. We had in 2013 a change in the diagnostic criteria, which included quite a lot of girls, but also that girls I know are masking their signs of autism quite a lot. So in
mm,
2023, the text revision of the same diagnostic criteria came out, which now include a lot more girls. So we are looking about between 1 and 2% of the entire South African population who have already got a diagnosis of autism. And we're looking at far more than 1 million people in South Africa. With that saying, we are looking at the shortage of services for our individuals with autism, not only within the school environment and education, but also post school when they leave school, either in skilled jobs or in adult centers where they can go in and be supported in adult centers. Because the more children, the more children that are diagnosed, they have to leave school at some stage, and that becomes a problem because parents need to look after them, or they need to have enough money to put them into care centers as well, if that person is not um, able to look after and support themselves.
And maybe jumping in there, does Autism South Africa offer any programs or resources with regards to raising awareness and educating the public about autism?
Yes, we do. We have quite a number of short, less than a day courses that we can do either face to face in the community, or we can also do that same program with community members, parents online as well. We have introduction to autism and behavior support, sensory support, classroom support, toilet training support as well. Then we have added quite a number of new programs, bullying in schools and safety plan for children in the schools itself. We also look at caregiver skills training, which is an 11-week program that we do half day once a week. We get the caregivers and parents in, and we upskill them with engagement of children, communication with children, behavior support, and then also self-care for that person. The caregiver, the parent, needs such a lot of support as well, because we all feel a little distanced from
Yeah.
the community. We feel we are the only one out there with a child that is like this. We don't look after ourselves. And we also need to be taught that yourself, you are important as well, not just the child. Yes,
Yeah.
after diagnosis, the focus shifts onto the child and a lot of work is done with the child, but then the parent seems to be forgotten in this whole process. And that's where we want to concentrate, is bringing the focus back, and also self-care for the individuals, the parents who work with those children. We also
Mm.
have a professional upskilling program called Hands on Autism, which is a 5-day training. All of our short courses, the short workshops, and the 5-day comes with CPD points for professionals as well. So with teachers, we give them their professional points, and any
Mm.
health professionals as well, we give them their points as well. We are registered with Education SACE and with the Health Council, the HPCSA as well. So we are a legitimate organization doing training and work in the communities.
Yeah. As I mentioned earlier on, we will get to how you can reach them out and stay in contact with them. And perhaps before we jump to the next point, there's a message that came through from one of our listeners who are tuning in on Facebook. It says, I have a grandson who was diagnosed with border autism. He will be 16 on the 14th of April. Love him daily. And adding to that, Antoinette, what advice would you give to someone who has just recently learned, discovered that their child has been diagnosed with the autism?
Okay. Um, as a parent myself, information 22 years ago was really scarce. But now that we have these fancy cell phones and devices and computers, information is more readily available. I would like to encourage people, wherever in which province you live, look at the website for Autism South Africa. There is a representative in your province. Contact that representative. Myself in the Eastern Cape, we have one in every province in South Africa. Contact that representative, because they are now in contact with other organizations or the professionals that you need. Read as much as you can. Don't always believe everything that you read, because that's another thing. There's so much information out there now that does not always apply to your child, because not all the information out there is specifically designed to help you with your child. Believe in yourself as a parent, because you know your child much better than anybody else there. Don't let people tell you how to parent your child or what you must do. Use your own common sense as a parent, but seek help. Seek information, and then contact someone that can put you in touch with a network of other parents, for instance, because parents learn so much from each other as well. And just to have that knowledge that there are other people in the same situation, it helps a lot to be able to talk to other parents out there as well. But read a lot. It'll help a lot. Phone me, I will help you. I've lost your audio. Mm-mm.
All right. I think we
There we
might
go.
have. Oh, awesome. Fantastic.
Now you're
As I was
back.
saying, awesome. As I was saying, before I let you go, Antoinette, if you could just, share us and furnish us with the content.
It's gone again. Can you hear me? Okay. So the contact detail for Autism South Africa is www.aut, which is AUT, the number 2, and then the word know, like knowledge, KNOW.co.za. My cell phone number is 072 678 2452. And I'm available on WhatsApp or a phone call, whatever you prefer. Um, and my own email address would be Eastern Cape at autismsouthafrica.org.
Fantastic. Antoinette, thank you so much for your time and your valuable insights this morning. I'm pretty sure it helped someone who tuned in. And as I mentioned, this gets to remain and stay on our social media platforms. So please, if you just tuned in and you know of, a parent who is parenting an autistic child, please share this broadcast with them. But Antoinette, thank you so much for your time and all the very best with regards to the work that you're doing at Autism South Africa. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. All right, that was Antoinette Bruce Alexander this morning, who is the Regional Development Officer, rather, at Autism South Africa. And of course, if you missed the conversation, do not forget to visit our social media platforms, or you can also stick around where I'll be sharing the contact details as to how you can call her directly. And as I mentioned, perhaps for referrals, group supports in the Eastern Cape, Western Cape. So do stick around right here on LTC on 107.5.